Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm very glad to have you. And if you're a returning guest, it's good to see you again. And if you're new here, my name is Beth and this is Spiral Path Arts. And I'm sitting in my, what I call the green room or the studio or the sewing room. It just is it's a really nice day in here today. And I thought I kind of moved some furniture around again, as I tend to do, and made this cozy little nook in the corner between the windows. Although cozy might not be quite the right word for it, since it's pretty chilly. Even though it's not that chilly outside, it's just a little chilly in here. The pleasures of living in an old house. Anyhow, this week's video is kind of a mishmash. That's the word I want. Of a lot of little projects, some a little bigger than others, that I did around the house over the last week. And actually, there's a couple that I forgot to share with you. They aren't that exciting, but I'll put them into the time-lapsey background music show and tell of some things I did when I was prepping for that brutal cold we had over the Christmas weekend. But anyhow, just going to share a few little things. I've been working here on some bigger projects, like kind of just planning and ruminating and thinking about what I want to do next. But I haven't, just been kind of picking away at my to-do list at little things here and there that needed to be done. So I thought I'd share that with you and take you along. I really do appreciate having you along. But just it's just fun to share, to think that, well, I'll do this and I'll share this little thing and it'll be fun. Maybe, especially when I do something stupid, well, I can laugh at that with my audience later. We can all laugh at my silliness or my stupidity as a group. Also, I've been doing, like I said, a lot of thinking and research about the next big project. And the next big project will probably be the other bathroom, the gross bathroom, the scary bathroom. I've decided that I'm going to pretty much DIY it with some help from a couple friends, and then bring in professionals for things like plumbing and stuff like that. But I've also decided I'm not really changing the footprint, so I don't have to do a lot there. So stay tuned if you want to see me do all that. That's what's been happening, but it's all been happening either on my computer or in my head. So I haven't done anything yet. And as tends to happen, I get thinking about one thing and it spirals out to another thing. So there's another little, well, it's not really well, it is. It's a different room, but I realize that while I'm doing that space, the other space needs things done. That back wall, that if you've been with me for a while, you've seen the plywood wall in my back room, which is kind of just the utility storage room right now. Former back porch when the house was built, but it has been enclosed for decades now. But that needs to be addressed, and it should have been addressed in the fall, but I just couldn't get to it. And again, I've lived with it for a while, and now I've come to some conclusions about what I want to really do in that space, which are different than what they were when I initially saw the house. So if I have any advice to anyone who is moving into a house that they know they need to do more than just paint and change the flooring or put in your own curtains and your own color scheme, but otherwise, if you've got a house like this house or any other older house, that bathrooms with tile floors that are coming up from the floor, or a really outdated kitchen or outdated bathrooms or whatever it might be that going to need some major work. My advice, which is contrary to all of the real estate shows and all of the house renovation shows that you will see on television, cable or otherwise, or even a lot of other YouTubers, if it's a livable space, if the toilet's flush, the sinks and the showers work, and you have a workable kitchen, and it's sanitary and safe, live in it for a while before you start ripping things out and making major decisions. Because as you live in a space, you kind of get to see like how the light comes in and the sound from the streets or the neighbors, or in my case, you start looking at the cost of things, lumber, plumbing fixtures, tile, tools, etc. Or you start looking for a good contractor that you trust or tradesmen that you know are available, etc. You may find that you have to make some concessions or changes to your plans. But I also think just living in the space and living in the house gives you an idea of its ultimate best use. And some real estate agents, will offer their advice. Well, if when you're viewing a house, oh, well, if you just tear out this wall and, replace these windows and, they're not going to live in the house, first of all. Same with your friends, other people, family members, whatever. You're going to be the one living in the house. So live, if you can, like I could live in this house. The kitchen is not my dream kitchen. It's a very serviceable kitchen. And I thought I could live with that kitchen. I thought, oh, I just need some cosmetic upgrades. The longer I live with that kitchen, the more I'm thinking, oh, actually, I might need to renovate that kitchen sooner than I thought. But budget-wise, it's going to have to wait. But I have a usable bathroom after some plumbing work that needed to be done that wasn't just the bathroom issue, it was the whole house. And so the other bathroom can sit unused until I get to it. Same with the back bedroom and, a few other things. So make your living space livable until you just start really digging into things, is my advice. Because my original thoughts on that bathroom and the back room have changed. Almost not completely, but quite a bit. So I won't go into the details. I'll share the details as I get working on the projects. But if you're in a similar situation where you're looking to buy and move to a new house, don't get into the idea that you have to go in there and rip everything out and renovate everything and make everything to your taste in the first weeks that you live there, or even go in and do it all before you move in, which is a wonderful luxury to do, but you haven't even lived in the space. Now, it is a great luxury to be able to live in a different space while you're renovating another space, to not live in a renovation zone. And if you're going to do a major renovation, especially like a kitchen rip out, being able to go somewhere else is a wonderful luxury to be able to do, but not all of us have that. Now, the very first house that my ex-husband and I bought 30 plus years ago was a 1910 kind of, I don't know. It wasn't a prairie style. It was in Illinois, but it wasn't prairie, but it wasn't Victorian. It's just a 1910 house, two-story house. But we knew when we went in there in 1990 that all the carpet needed to come out. First of all, it was raspberry sherbet pink. I've grown to appreciate pink a lot more now than I used to back in the 90s. But it was pink, and then there was some dusty blue, and it wasn't shag, but it was dirty. It was nasty, and we were and are hardwood floor people. And we, during one of our viewings of the house upstairs, one of the closets didn't have carpet, so we were able to see the floors in the closet to know what was upstairs. And then somewhere downstairs, we were able to pull up a little bit of the carpet and see what was there. So we got the closing on that house, and we still had like another month or 2 or 3 weeks or something like that on our lease in the apartment we were living in. So we were able to find a company to go in and refinish, at least on the main floor. Yeah, just on the first floor, ground floor. We went in after work, weekends, tore out the carpet, pulled up the tack strips, and the roofing nails that they had used to hold the tack strips down. That was fun. Oh, and also some big, like huge galvanized decking nails to hold some of those tack strips down. I don't know why, but we did that work ourselves. And then we had a company come in and sand and refinish the old oak floors, and they were lovely. Because we had a dog. Did we have a dog yet? No, we didn't have a dog. We had 2 cats at the time, and we had no children yet. But the way the house was laid out, there really wouldn't have been good way to live in part of the house while the floors were being refinished, that kind of thing. So that was a luxury. But we had refinished wood floors in our subsequent house, actually more than once. That was another situation, and we're able to like maybe go away for the weekend, take the dogs to the kennel, for a week or whatever. But there are some jobs that you can't get out of the house. You have to get out of the house and just let the workers or yourselves do it and not try to live in that. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is I talk a lot about my house telling me what she wants and listening to the house. And sometimes the house will, I swear, manifest things for me to find for her that sometimes completely change my direction. That parlor, it's pretty much what I had visualized when I walked in this house the first time. The dark green walls are definitely something I was leaning toward. I wanted dark, rich colors in here, but some of the decorations are not the way I would have gone originally, what I was thinking. But the house asked for something a little more feminine than I was, quite frankly, going to originally go for. The blue in the blue room was not on my radar at all. I still sometimes walk in there and go, why did I paint this color? But that's another story. That's just my little bit of advice for you today. But I want you to stick around. I'm going to share, like I said, a few little jobs and things that I've done this week. And then at the very end, I got lucky again on Facebook Marketplace this last weekend. When I get lucky, I get really lucky. Now, I have missed out on some things, like this beautiful English oak table a couple months ago with barley twist legs that the guy originally was asking $75 for. I looked it up online. It was worth $850. I didn't get that one. Somebody else got it. She ultimately paid him $200 for it. In hindsight, I should have gone in and bid a little bit higher, but the whole situation was kind of wonky. So you don't get everything. There's some furniture pieces that I inquired about that had gotten sold before I inquired about them. But this weekend I found 2 things. One I was looking for, and it's a very good deal. And it's not sexy or exciting, but I'm excited about it. The other thing, though, is very sexy and very exciting. And if you are a Facebook friend or follow me on Instagram or my Spiral Path Facebook group, you probably already know what this is about. I'm just going to give you a little sneak peek at the end, and then there's probably going to be a whole video about this sexy new member of the family. She's a beauty. Oh, she's got legs on her, legs for days, and curves. Curves. When I say sexy, I'm talking sexy. So anyway, hang on to the end, and I'll introduce you to that or show you those things, and then come back in a few days, like and subscribe so you know when it happens. Hit the notification bell, and you'll get an even bigger introduction, a little more detail, a little more down and dirty, if you will, with the sexy new member of the household. Okay? All right? See you at the end. Today I have a little project, at least for right now. I'm going to start with this little project today that I've been meaning to do for a while. A friend told me about this product. It's called the chimney balloon. And what the idea is, let's see if we can get it open here. The idea is that this, if you've got a chimney fireplace, like I do, that's not being used, and cold air is coming down it, or your hot air, heated air is going up it, or in the summer, your cool air is going up it, and, you know, just energy efficient. This one, now this is the backs, this is a two-sided fireplace. There's this here in the parlor, and then the fireplace that I cleaned out a while ago in another video with the pretty blue tile that's in the blue room opposite this wall. So, and I know this one is open all the way to the outside because it's also the fireplace that had the other side. It's the chimney that had the baby chimney swifts come down in a storm last summer. And quite often, now this summer cover that's on here doesn't latch in place, it's broken. So there's been more than once that we've had a storm, and like when the air pressure changed or a big downdraft of wind has come, this thing has crashed forward in the middle of the night or middle of the day, you know, whenever the storm came through. That is why this less than attractive copper kettle, copper distiller, is sitting here. And yeah, this, I have two of these actually. This is the only one with the lid. So I still have it, but I keep it in front of here so that it holds this summer cover in place. But we'll move it out of the way. So the idea behind this chimney balloon is it's got this tube and it's got this balloon. Okay, I think it comes out of this bag. I don't know if it's mylar. I don't think it's mylar. What is it made out of? Yeah, it's a plastic balloon. So the idea is that it goes up. You can see here, maybe, well, it's probably reflecting. Get this out of here. It goes up in the chimney flue area, and then you blow into the tube. I'm assuming this is a one-way valve, because if I got to reach my hand up there, well, maybe it comes down far enough. I don't know. I'll read the instructions here in a minute. You blow it up, it fills the space, and the air holds it in place, and it keeps the air from going up and down the chimney, and birds and other stuff from coming down the chimney. And we'll see how it works. I'll be completely honest, I did not get in there and measure. So I just kind of guesstimated by the different sizes they had available. I did, off camera, go look in the bedroom fireplace, and I cannot see any light coming down, although there's a little cold air, but that could just be air that's in the chimney, in the uninsulated chimney. I think that one might be capped off at the roof. I don't know. But if this works well in here, I haven't had problems with stuff falling down that chimney or wind coming down that chimney or anything like that, like I do this one. So this was my my trial, and interesting. If this works in here, I may go in and measure that one at some point and order one for in there, just for insulation purposes, but that one's not a problem. That one was also a two-sided fireplace with that room and the green room, but the previous owners, 3 or 4 owners ago, took that other fireplace out, which breaks my heart. I wish I knew what they did with, I'd love to know what the tile was like in the green room, because the tile is so beautiful in that bedroom and so beautiful in the blue room. I don't think this tile is original. It's interesting tile, but it's not pretty. It's just, I don't know, because I think this mantle was rebuilt as well, but I might have mentioned that already. I'm going to read my instructions. I'm going to open this up, and we'll see if we can get this in there. You'll get to watch me screw around and figure it out. So I went and checked the other side, the blue room fireplace, to determine one that these are, I mean, I knew they were connected, but you know, like how far this had to go up to cover both sides. And I think, and which side would be the better side to access it from. And I think this is it. You see, oh, we're gonna be here all damn day. I don't have an air pump. Well, actually I do. I have a car tire pump compressor, but I'm not sure that would work. It might work. We'll see how hard this is. Anyway, let's this is really a mess. I do need to go get the shop vac too and perhaps clean this up. This is actually still attached, I think. Yeah, the gas is still attached to this log, but there ain't no way I would ever use this log. So I'll have to have, my intention is, oh my God, what is that? Oh, it's just a feather, okay. Is to have a chimney fireplace expert come at some point and check these out, let me know about what would be involved in potentially capping the chimneys if they're not already capped. Well, I know this one isn't. I don't know. I don't need to have operational fireplaces. Would it be nice to be able to open this up and light the gas log like on Christmas Eve or when it's 10 degrees outside, which happens once or twice a year? Yeah, it would be, but the other hassle and mess and danger of a fire in this house outweighs the idea of the ambiance of a fireplace. So I'm going to get real dirty today. So let's see, it's this. Just trying to figure out how to get it up in there right. I should maybe clean this before I do this. Okay, let's see. Where? This is gonna fit. I would show y'all what I was doing, but I don't think I can get the camera up in here where you can see it. Okay, I'm hoping that kind of like up in there. I can actually see daylight. All right, let's see. This is fun. Okay, I think before I get it much more inflated, it's about 40% inflated. I'm gonna go take it around to the other side. We'll look up in there and see if we need to rearrange it so it's gonna fit tight, and then we'll come back. All right, let's see what we got going on in here. And all that cleaning up I did in here, and I had wedged these boards, which had been wedged up in here in the past. They fell in a storm. So yeah, this has got to be better. So, and then when I go up to the shed later, I will get the shop vac and we'll give this a good cleaning again. Okay, let's see what we got happening in here. Let's see. Where is the corner? Yeah, I think that's gonna work. Okay, let's see if I can show y'all what's going on up in here. So that blue it's not actually blue, it's just the, oops, hold on. That is the plastic, that's the sky, the reflection sunlight coming down. So that light over there, you can peek through there, that is the, here's the parlor on the other side. So I think this is in the right position to, if I get it further inflated, fill that gap. Let's hope. And then let's also hope that once it's filled, that it actually holds air. That it doesn't get any holes in it, and it holds air. I've read a few reviews. Some reviews are like, this is the greatest thing ever invented and it works wonderful. And other reviews are, yeah, it worked great until it fell. Like, you know, it worked for a while and then it didn't hold air and it fell. And then I have to check it every, you know, once a week or every couple days to make sure I add air to it. So we will see what happens. It's a beautiful sunny day today. It's cool but not cold. So as far as like, other than dirt coming down, I'm not going to really know if it's holding air. I'm going to go back and blow my fireplace some more. That'll be fun. So I think I have it. It's up in there and it's tight. It's holding air. I don't feel any breeze coming down on me now like I did when I opened this. So I guess we just need another storm to find out if this is going to work. So I'm going to go and I guess get the shop back. That'll be the fastest way to do this. Clean up these fireplace holes. Also, it's going to be handy because the cats always want to get in here, and I'm always afraid they're going to get in there and get in like up in there and get somewhere where they can't get out, and then I have to tear out my fireplace to get my cats out because they're little stink bombs. That was today's project. Not too exciting, but you know, it's a cool product. Hopefully, if it works, I'll let you know. Not sponsored. And no affiliate links or anything, but I got it on Amazon. You can get it at a lot of places. You might be able to get it at Home Depot or someplace like that. I don't know. So if you have a drafty old fireplace that you don't use, might be the answer. So if this works, I'm going to order another one for the other fireplace because why not? I don't have a problem with that fireplace, but any penny I can save on fuel costs, gas and air conditioning costs, heat and air conditioning, I'm going to take it because I could really use it. Can't we all right now? So, I mean, I'd like to eat eggs occasionally, and Walmart eggs are $6 a dozen now. I used to buy farm fresh eggs from a, you know, backyard chicken lady for $4 a dozen years ago. That was a lot of years ago. So Eggland's Best for $5 or $6 a dozen seems stupid. How did I get talking about eggs? I don't know. It's just something that came up in my news feed today was the cost of eggs at Walmart. And I used to buy, before pre-pandemic, I used to buy a dozen eggs at Aldi for 69 cents a dozen. So, yeah, it's just crazy. What's our world coming to? I sound like an old lady. Oh, I'm going to go outside and yell at clouds. Except it's a sunny day and there's no clouds to go out and yell at. So, here we are. So, this is the before video. I always forget to take the before videos when I do a big project. But this is the back corner of my property, of my backyard. And these really big vines that you'll see right there that are twisting up right there, those are wisteria. That's a wisteria that, again, the same owners that took out the fireplace and did a bunch of stuff in the house planted back in the 70s or 80s. And it was a very pretty little, I've seen pictures of it, little wisteria vine. Last spring when I came to look at the house, there were wisteria hanging from this, right there by the house. You can see them right in here, with flowers blooming. It was very pretty, but it's kind of taking over this poor crepe myrtle tree here. And obviously, and there's other vines in there too. Some with some big nasty thorns, so I gotta get my gloves on. And I'm gonna clean, and then there's just random stuff back in here. There's a pile of bricks, random lumber that I think is from the porch remodel repair that didn't last. That's another story. And I'll take you over here. Obviously this fence still needs cleaning, and that'll be something I'll do this spring. And this pile of detritus is stuff that I pulled out from between my furnace, air conditioner, and the corner of the house here. This was completely grown over and choking this area out with vines, and it was growing up in the corner and in the window and into the furnace. I didn't think that was a good idea, and I also pulled it away from this corner of the end of the house side of the house was covered in, I don't know if it was Virginia creeper or some kind of nasty vine. And then this ground cover, and it was choking the foundation and everything. So I pulled it away and started chopping it back, but I don't know if I'll attack this today, but I got that out a while ago. But here, we'll take another view of my before. Of course, the Spanish moss is also growing in this tree, which isn't an issue. It's not, it doesn't harm the trees. It's not a, what's the word I want? Parasite. People think it is, but it's not. It just grows there, and it's kind of pretty. It's so southern. So I have some cleaning up to do back here, and I'm going to get at it, and I'll show you what I get done. I think I'm also going to pull, if I get back to it, I'm going to pull the whatever winter creeper or whatever that is that's growing on this back fence. And there is some, whatever that is from the neighbor's yard that's overgrowing my fence. I think it's all just a weed tree. And I've been told that this tree is nothing special, and I think it's going to come out today too. We'll see. Let's see if I get it pulled, cut down, because I need to have obviously the house painted. It's not offering. It's one of the few things I have up against the house, but it offering shade, but it's not offering shade where I need shade. So I have seen on my old house Facebook groups enough people with having problems with tree roots growing into their sewer systems that I think, since my sewer clean out is right in there. Oh yeah, I just spent the first 5-10 minutes out here filling 2 bags with dog poop. But my sewer clean out's right in that hole there, and it goes underneath here somewhere and out to the alley that way. I don't need tree roots in it. I have enough issues with this house that tree roots in my sewer is not something I need to deal with. So let's get to work. I gotta go get in the shed and get my tools, and got my gloves over there, and also I have some fixing and thinking and dreaming and measuring to do in the shed. So I'm gonna go get my tools, and we'll come back and we'll get to work on this. And I think I missed some dog poop. Well, not a surprise. It's been a while since I've cleaned it. So, okay. I'm sure you wanted to know that.
So I've been cracking along for a couple hours here, I think. I don't know, it feels like it anyway. Well, yeah, let's see, what is it? Oh yeah, it's been like almost 2 hours that I've been working on this. Time flies when you're having fun. And made some good progress. I'll show you here in a second, but I wanted to show you why the wisteria has to go. And it's not going to go completely, from what I understand. It's next to impossible to completely eradicate, but let's see if I can show you here some of the spot. See this? It's growing between my fences. Sorry. And is, distorting the fence, breaking the fence. So it gets so heavy, you can tear a whole fence down. There's more happening over here. So, anybody who has a smart idea to grow wisteria along their porch eaves or picket fence, think, oh, wouldn't that be pretty, Beth, on your pretty yellow house to have those purple flowers in the spring all along the front of your porch? It would be absolutely lovely, but it would wreck my porch. It would wreck my house. It would tear the porch right off the house within a few years. And so it's extremely invasive here in the South. There are versions that are not invasive, but I got lucky. People who planted this 40 years ago planted the Chinese or Japanese or whatever Asian variety that's extremely kudzu-like back here. Did not get all of the vines out of the tree, but they're cut from the ground, so they're dead, and they're not gonna, eventually they'll just rot and a storm will blow them off. Well, some of them are so coiled around the branches up there that they're just gonna go whenever the tree goes. But I think I'm gonna go get my hedge clippers to get at this winter creeper on the fence, because I just want to see what's going on back in here a little bit, and I might as well do it now when there's no bugs and no snakes. And yeah, at least if I find a snake, he's probably sleeping, right. So, and not today. I need to get on the other side of the fence and clean it from that side, because I can see a lot of it's coming up from over there. It's gone under the fence, but now I'm wondering, this other little tree here, let me show you, that's on the neighbor's side of the fence, my back neighbor. I hope she isn't mad that I pulled all the wisteria out of her crepe myrtle. I'm pretty sure it's crepe myrtle. I feel like last summer it had pretty pink or red flowers on it. It's a much smaller. Oh yeah, I can see the trunk a little bit from here over in this area. It's definitely crepe myrtle. I hope she isn't mad. She didn't want my wisteria growing in her yard, because I've pulled as much of it off back over to my side of the fence as I can. But maybe she'll be appreciative that I pulled the killer vines out of her crepe myrtle and they won't break it and kill it. If I were so inclined, and we all know that I'm not, I could go get the super tall ladder. Oops, I'm falling over. And get up in these branches of my crepe myrtle and try to chop out more of these vines. But I'm not putting a ladder up in a tree that's going to shake and move as I'm pulling on it and cutting at it. So maybe at some point I'll have a tree trimmer come in and clean this tree up a little bit. If that day ain't today either. So I think, well, I went and got some water. Gonna take a little breather here because I'm getting parched, and crack at it and see what else I can get cleaned out of this corner. At one point I saw the photo of the original wisteria when it was about as tall as I am, not even. There was a little water feature back in this corner with the wisteria growing behind it. A little fountain. I don't know if it's still under all this stuff or if it got taken out at some point, but I'm kind of curious to see if there's any goodies. There's a lot of rotted wood back in here that they just pitched when they redid the porch, I guess, or something. I don't know where it's all from. And this has been in the back, seen it, but this this mess. This is a cedar porch swing or garden swing. As you can see, I'm kind of using it as a lumber rack because all of that lumber was just on the lawn. And it's actually not lumber, it's MDF, or not MDF, what's the stuff? The poly, you know, the plastic trim that looks like wood, paintable trim. So it was just, so it's not going to rot, but I just got it up off the ground, so it wasn't in the way. And oh, well, while I'm here, I'll show you. Well, let me finish talking about the cedar swing. This was here, and I think it's possibly salvageable. The swing underneath everything may not be salvageable, but it may just need a few new boards. There's definitely some boards slats have come off of it, but I don't know if I'm going to get that cleared today. But yes, there's some rot on this pagoda thingy, but I think it could be saved. I really do. So this is not the location I would want it. I don't know where I would want it. And maybe the previous owner or owners or whoever, wherever it came from, thought that they could grow the wisteria up over that. Yeah, that would take that down in a couple seasons. You really need steel or maybe redwood or cedar if they were like 8x8s or something. But anyway, let me show you what else is over here that got me all excited the other day when I was out here. Can you see? Can you see that? Okay, it's not very impressive. I know, it's not very impressive. But this is my shiitake mushroom log that I went to a mushroom growing workshop before I left Chattanooga and inoculated this log. The thing is that it had a lot more little mushrooms on it a week ago or two, and now they're mostly, oops, it's gonna fall, gone. And I think these squirrels have discovered it and have been coming along and having shiitake mushrooms. So if anybody has mushroom logs, you can see all this is all mycelium, I think, in here. So it's supposed to, what do you call it, fruit in the spring. So, and they said, well, you might get a small fruiting here and there in the fall or winter if your conditions are right. And I mean, if it needs just humidity, I got that going for me back here. So, but I don't know how to protect it from the squirrels. Do I make it a little hardware cloth cage and put it in to keep the squirrels coming? That would be funny, but that would maybe that will be what I do. I don't know, because I want those mushrooms. I don't want the squirrels getting the mushrooms. So, and wouldn't it be interesting if the mushrooms ended up, I don't know what the word is. Where are my mushroom people? Pollinating is not the word, but spreading into this swing. And then I would have a mushroom swing. It'd be kind of cool, actually. But anyway, it was a fun workshop to go to, and I think my movers thought I was crazy when I was like, make sure that log gets on the truck. And they're like, your log? So, the log lady. All right, I'm going to go get another tool, drink more water, and see how much further I can get. But I've made pretty good progress. So let me give you a wide shot. And I wish all of the vines that were growing up in here were just wisteria vines. But instead, there are these nasty, thorny vines with like 1-inch long thorns. And also, if they were wild roses, it would be at least worth, you know, dealing with the thorns, but they're not. I don't know what it is. It's some kind of devil weed, we'll call it. I don't know. Okay, let me turn you around and show you where we're at. So look at, yeah, there's a lot more light back here that you can see that all that Spanish moss on that tree is in the neighbor's yard. So you can see over the fence, and I don't really care if that winter creeper's on the fence necessarily. I just want to clean it off for now because I know I'm going to clean the fence, and I also want to try to get as much of the vines that have grown through the fence out of the fence without breaking it if possible. But since that was one solid mass of vines from the fence all the way up to the tree, I think I got pretty good. But yeah, I don't know if you can see this. The light's right. Let me see if I can zoom in. Right there. See that twisty bunch? That's a whole bunch of vines that are just up in the tree. And if I went and got a ladder or something, I could maybe get it out. But it's all chopped off right there, so I think it's going to be okay. So you know how I said a couple videos ago that, you know, I'd kind of lost my practice of reading my tarot cards and meditations and things like that over the last few months. And well, I made an effort at the beginning of the year to get back to that. And the message I kept getting from the particular deck of cards that I was reading and the cards I was drawing was get back in touch with nature, spend some time outside and listen to the wild spaces around you and experience them. Now, one would say, well, a weedy corner of your yard isn't necessarily a wild space. No, it isn't, but it's my wild space, and it's definitely been a very wild corner. Nobody's gone in it in years. Also, one of my card indicated, I think for my first of the year card reading, was to create sacred space outside where you could go to connect to nature. So I'm hoping that maybe if I clean this corner out enough and what have you, that maybe it could become a little shady spot, respite in my yard. Of course, you know, a few months the bugs are going to come back and I'm not going to want to be out here, but the bugs are also part of nature and they're all here for a reason. Okay, I'm going to get back to work because I've got about, I don't know, a few more minutes of energy left in me, and then I got to go get something to eat and be done for today because I don't want to overdo it. I felt really crappy all weekend, and the first day I feel, you know, halfway human, I'm out here practicing for the Olympic tug of war team. So yeah, and of course it's going to be a whole other day of dragging all this crap out to wherever I drag it to. I have an entire city lot that I can just dump it on if I so choose, or I could put it out to the road and see if the city picks it up. We'll see what if I were to Hugel culture some garden beds out on my lot, I'd be almost afraid to, because this stuff is so virulent that I'm afraid if I buried it even 6 feet under, it would sprout and I would just have wisteria and double vine. If anybody knows what that stuff is, with the big thorns down here in Alabama, you can let me know so I quit calling it double vine. But that's what it felt like when it was going through my gloves. I guess I should have put my leather or Kevlar gloves on instead of these work gloves, but it is what it is. These have a nice grip on them, so okay. Peace out.
Okay, so this is bargain find number 1 in no chronological order, but this is a wet saw, a tile saw. Water in here, down here. And I found this on Facebook Marketplace for $45. I ended up giving her $50 because I didn't have change, but still, I can't rent one for $50 a day. And she thought they were brand new because they were still in the box. They actually had, it was one of those situations where they bought like a pallet of stuff and these were in there. It is not new. It's clearly been used, but I looked through all the parts and put everything together and everything is there but the blade, and I would have gotten a new blade anyway. So I don't know what tile saw blades cost, but still going to be less. So that was an exciting find. And when I get doing the bathroom, it's going to come in very handy. And I think once I get going, eventually I'm going to do the other bathroom, especially the floors. They need new tile. And at some point, I want to replace that backsplash tile. But again, I'm not going to do a job that I may end up redoing everything and not yet. So, but either way, there are potentially a lot of tile jobs around here to do. But for $50, if I use it just for the one bathroom, it's paid for itself. So now let me take you and show you my sexy new girlfriend. I think anybody who's, been alive for the last 100 years probably recognizes that name. And then, of course, if you are a seamstress, tailor, hobby sewer, you're really familiar with that name. But look, she's gonna reveal. There she is. I have wanted a treadle sewing machine for a very, very long time. So that's going to be my next medium-sized project. I don't think fixing her up, cleaning her up, and getting her running is going to be a huge project because she's in such good shape. I'm just floored that I found her locally. I mean, it was a 15-minute drive. I'm just so excited. But I'm going to make a video when I get her out of the cabinet and start cleaning her up when all the parts come. Stuff from my sister, stuff from that I ordered online, parts that I needed to add to her. And then when I get her sewing. So, and I've been thinking, it's not really my thing, for lack of a better term. But I have been thinking about doing a little bit of like historic sewing, historic costuming kind of thing for since I moved into this house. And I've been watching some different people, historic sewers and textile historians, clothing historians, that kind of dress historians on YouTube just for fun. I think it might be fun to make something. Now, she's a 1923 machine. My house was built in around 1895, 1897. So do I make Victorian, late Victorian, something or other from the late 1890s that would fit with the house? Or do I make some 1923 era? I'm not much of a flapper girl. It's not really my era. So do I make something that fits the era of my house or fits the era of my machine? I'm not sure. I apologize that my manners got away from me. I introduced you to her, but I never gave you her name. My sister in Michigan collects antique machines. And let me tell you, both of my sisters, were so excited to meet her as well and encouraged me to buy her immediately. But then when I said, well, she needs a name. And I actually asked the seller, does she have a name? And she kind of looked at me funny, like, what kind of crazy person are you? Names inanimate objects. And I'm like, well, because one, she is not inanimate. She's going to be moving. She's animated. I'm going to animate her, but she's animated. She didn't come with a name. So then my sister looked up the most popular women's names in 1923. But then she's like, well, if this was like, say, a gift to a new bride, perhaps for her trousseau or something like that, a young mother buying anyhow, she's like, well, let's just assume that the first owner of this was, let's just say she was in her early 20s. So she was born around 1900, anywhere from 1890 to, 1905. Like maybe she was like 18 years, young bride. Well, I guess for that year era, probably not that young of a bride. But anyhow, so she went back to like 1900, 1890, most popular names. Guess what? Every year for first half of this century, I guess we're in a new century now, aren't we? 20 years into it, you'd think I'd know by now. Mary. And I was like, Mary doesn't work for me. But then she was like reading through the list, a bunch of names. And one of them was Minnie or Minerva. Well, I'm like, well, Minerva's already standing here next to her. So Minerva needs a sister. What's Minerva's sister's name? And then she said Rose. And I was like, This house has been asking for roses since the day I moved in. It wants me to plant roses around the fence, which is one of the main reasons I had to paint that fence, is so that in the spring I could plant roses on it and it would already be painted. It wanted the rose rug. It wanted the rose painting. It wanted the tables with the carved roses. This house wants roses. So now we have Red-Eyed Rosie, the wonderful singer sewing machine. So stay tuned for more Red-Eyed Rosie content. There'll always be Lilith and Cass and Henry content when they're not napping somewhere, which is what they're doing right now. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you again in a few days, a week. I should probably set a schedule. That should be on my to-do list for January. Get a schedule. Yeah, that's what I should do. I should get my shit together. Oh well.